Thank you for joining us here on the Spyshack podcast, where superfans get together to talk about the latest episode of Survivor. This week we're looking at episode 3 of Winners at War, Out for Blood. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for joining us again, and especially for those who rejoined us from the last time we were actually doing this. Kim, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. And last time we were on, I forgot to just mention how much I love and miss my son. And when we were signing off, I realized I didn't say that. And it's like my way of talking to him. So, but other than that, I'm doing great, enjoying Survivor. And the fact that winter's almost over.
Yeah.
I have winter. You don't. So for me...
Well, we have Texas winter. It went down to the 30s today, so it was super, super, super cold.
Oh my goodness, it was warmer here. It was like 50 today.
I want to go ahead and just let everybody know we are back up and what is it?
Vamped?
No. I forgot the word. I always do that. But we're back on Apple Podcasts. So we've been I put the thing on the description of last week's episode. It's going to be on this week's. We're back on YouTube already. The YouTube video or quote unquote video, it's just going to be this podcast with the title screen, and that will usually go up the morning after. And I want to go ahead and thank, actually, from last week, Blake Isbell. Hopefully I said your name right. Thank you very much for commenting on the YouTube channel. There was a question between Kim and I on how far of a gap or between the seasons 39 and the preseason of 40, and Blake says there was a 10-day gap. So the betrayal that Sandra's feeling is pretty new.
Yeah, new and raw, because
yes,
same thing, but that means that he knew he was going to be back on. So there was no question like it was a lot of time. Maybe he went home and thought about it. No, he knew.
Yeah, and he knew that Amber was going to be
there. Yeah, so
well, technically he didn't lie. He didn't lie. He just didn't say anything.
No, he said he would never do it again. That's what
I think she said. He never said anything about being back.
You got to put it in the comments, but I'm going with he said he would never do it again.
I believe what happened is that they said they would never do it together. Like they never come back together. But he never actually said that he was going to be in this season, which is why she's upset.
But also he didn't say Amber was going to be on.
Correct.
Because he knew that they both were. So he lied. So, I mean, and he paid for it because Amber's gone. Well, not, she's on the island. But
she's mostly gone.
Yes. And that was because Rob lied. And I don't know how he thought that it was okay. Now that we know how much time is in between, it wasn't like she had time to go home, and then maybe forget that he said it, or it's been so much time. She's like, oh, well, maybe. No. Like, he didn't even probably go home. I mean, that's only 10, 11 days. There's no way he went home.
There's got to be a couple of days after they finish up that they all stay there still.
Yeah, the only person that I know, go home for a few days. It would make. Yeah. I mean, he could have maybe to see his kids.
The only people that I know that don't stay behind after the final tribal council are usually people that decide that they're not going to go to the reunion, like Iris's brother, who decided to go home early, and Adam, who left as soon as the tribal council was over so he can go be with his mom.
Yes.
Other than that, I haven't heard of anybody else leaving right after Final Tribal Council.
Yeah,
so I bet they're there a day or two.
If there's a 10-day difference, I doubt he went home, because you have to figure the flight alone and going home and coming back would wear on him
Yeah.
because
Although
of
remember,
jet lag and everything.
the
So
last time
maybe
we
for
saw them on season 39, it was when they gave up the shelter they built. So there might have been a little bit more for them. They might have had like 13 days or something.
right.
Mhm.
So
So
yeah.
so let's jump into this episode. It's called Out for Blood, and it really points towards Michelle talking about Parvati, who is, well, Adam is talking with his group and they're trying to figure out who they need to vote out. And they kind of come to the consensus that it needs to be Parv. More on the Adam side that's thinking that, even when he's talking to Ethan, they're pointing
Yes, and
to
I was
Parv.
surprised he said something to Ethan because I understand that he's trying to play both sides, but you have to be. I wouldn't have said who the target was. I would have said, I don't know. We have the number, so it's going to be either Rob or Parv. I would have worded it differently, but he outright said it to Ethan, and Ethan was like, "Why would he tell me? She's my number one.
I think the
Rob's
move
number one
there is,
too."
yeah, I think the move there is, look, we have the numbers. We want you to be with us. Who would you rather go home, Parv or Rob?
No, but he
Let
didn't
him
say that
choose.
because
Make him
I
feel
think
like
if
he has
Ethan
some sort
had
of
the choice, he
power,
would have gotten
even
rid
though
of
you know that
Rob
you
over
have
Parv.
the power. You winning out there. Okay.
Oh, did I? I think if Ethan had the choice, he would have said no to um, Parv going home, and he would have chose Rob. But Adam, in my opinion, didn't put it as much as a choice, rather than this is what the group wants.
Yeah, and that was what one of the things that really I feel that they messed up last week in going at Danny. They could have just said, "Look, Danny, we're on your side. We're showing you on your side. We're voting this person out," and still let the majority of alliance or the other alliance vote towards Danny, so they can see that they were still together. They might have not had the numbers either way, but at least if you did get the vote to go your way, you would show Danny, look, we're on your side. You're still here, and we're with you. Unfortunately, they didn't have the numbers. Everyone
Yeah,
decided to vote
Danny
out
Danny
Danny.
ruined so much, but in retrospect, maybe they should have tried to work things out with Danny, and not voted her out, and went for Adam or Denise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, and I have something to talk about Adam and Denise at the end of this episode, and I said it
yes.
on Twitter, but we'll talk about that at the end of the episode. Um, Everyone thought
Well, on
Adam
the
and
other
Ethan were going to
island,
get
they
together.
talked about going after Sandra.
Yeah, well, and we'll get there right now. But I was going to say, everyone thought at the moment when the episode was going on Twitter, is it possible that Adam and Ethan can get together? And I don't know. Ethan kind of put it out right away. Like, why would you tell me that?
Yeah.
And I get Adam's side on why he's doing what he's doing. I will get more into it as he explains what he's doing. So yeah, we go to the other tribe. Tyson, he says he's been on the outside for the last couple of days, and he needs to find a way to get the target off himself. And he tries to target Sandra by going to Yule.
Yes.
But the thing with Yule is that he's so smart. He accepts Tyson is saying, and he actually thinks about it. He says it's
Yes.
on the table when it maybe not really might be something he wants to do, but he lets him think that he's thinking about it.
Right. And with Yule, it's like until he vocalizes it, you never really know what he's thinking. Like he's stoic, or he's
Yeah.
just so good at that, where all emotions he doesn't show. What he's thinking, he doesn't show. He literally has to tell us. And sometimes you get a read of certain people and you know what they're thinking. But with Yul, you have no idea what he's thinking.
What season was Cook Islands? Was that like 15, something like
13.
that? 13?
Yeah, because Yul's on 13.
Oh,
I'm
that's
watching
right. That's right.
I'm currently
Panama was
watching
12.
13.
Panama was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Panama was 12.
Yul is still considered old school. And,
Yes, I would think that Yul is old school.
yeah. And the thing is with him is that he's so good. I would be scared of being with him because you know how smart he is. I'm pretty sure people can see that he's close with Sophie, another smart player. And I feel like he's not in danger. I think he's everybody's friend.
I find Sophie just so boring. I don't find Yul boring. Like even though Yul's very
Yul's charismatic,
level-headed, but he's enjoyable to watch.
Yes,
even though he doesn't go either. He's not up and down and all over.
I think,
but
Yul
Sophie's just all around boring.
Yul is the most boring, charismatic person. That makes sense.
I can see that. Like, he's not like, oh my God, wow, he's so entertaining. Like, right before we came on, I was talking about Shane from season 12, but Sophie just takes it to another level of boring. And forgive me, Sophie fans. I mean, I don't know personally. This is not a personal thing. I just find her boring.
Yeah, I said it last week. I didn't really like her so much.
Yeah,
not necessarily as a person, as on Survivor.
Yeah, as a game. Yeah,
I don't know her in person. I don't know any of these people in person.
Our opinions are never personal. They're always
the closest people that we know are Adam and Jessica because they actually talk to us.
And Jessica is awesome all around, and her salt and vinegar kettle.
It still bothered me that my computer crashed while we were talking to her.
I know.
Yeah,
poor Jess. She got some pink eye and a rock. Let's go. So out to Jessica.
So Sandra catches a shark, and do you catch what she
in the previous we thought it was Tony, but it was Sandra, really.
But no,
Tony just
I don't think Tony would do it because Tony's scared of sharks.
I'm scared.
I kind of wondered. I even put it on Twitter. Was anybody else thinking that it'd be hilarious to see Tony get bitten by the shark? And just to see his reaction, because his reaction was hilarious with it just like swarming around.
I know. I was
just to
saying,
see the bite.
Why is he? I wondered why he ran away with it and just put it right in the bucket. I'm like, where is he going? This thing is gonna bite him. But that was a pretty decent size shark for a meal.
Did you catch what Sandra said?
It's a nothing size shark, but for a meal for them, it was great.
Did you catch what Sandra said?
Yes, but I don't remember, so please remind me.
You guys tell me if I'm wrong. I believe she said that after this season, she's retiring from Survivor.
Is she really?
That's what it sounded like in the episode, and I might have heard it wrong or something. Because I was
didn't hear that.
Well, I can see it because after four times, it's very rare you're going to come back unless you're Boston Rob or even Rupert.
Yeah, but and understand that at this point, she's going to be not home for like 70 plus days, 80 plus days. Because, like, again, I doubt she went home in between shows. So she has to be exhausted.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally, it has to be draining.
Especially if she wouldn't win again.
Young.
If she were to win again, there's no one that would blame her for not wanting to come back again for a fifth time. Well,
yeah, and
technically,
I guess she's not young, so you're talking 4 times. If she was, in her early 30s, I can be like, oh yeah, she can come back. But I mean, she's older. She's not good at physical challenges as it is, so she's only going to get worse at physical challenges. She's good at the time puzzles, anyways. She's normally out. and just sitting, on the sidelines cheering on. I love when she sits out because I think about it, I'd be like, yep, if I can sit out, I'd be sitting out too.
And you know what's weird? That I was so scared for Boston Rob and Sandra, and I don't feel like they're in trouble.
Not
Neither
yet.
one.
They're not.
Not yet. Once the merge comes, I'm sure they're going to be the first to go. But I don't feel like they're in trouble from either side. We'll talk about Boston Rob at the end of this one.
Yeah, I think after next week there is going to be the tribal swap, which I think our veterans and old school people need.
So you'll just tell Sandra about Tyson, and Sandra pretty much talks to us as the audience that Tyson better watch his back because you don't talk about voting out Sandra without facing the consequences.
Yeah.
Because she can get loud too.
True that. And she takes it personal. Like,
heck yeah.
Sandra doesn't, she always takes it like, you're coming after me, now you're going to die. Because that's it for her. Don't you dare mention her name. And I think it's funny that, and you're telling her, and saying,
that's why I'm saying that Yul has thought about all this. And
for him to say something to Sandra, he knows how Sandra is.
Yes, well, he knows that Sandra is there. That as long as Sandra is there, he has a shield in front of him. Because Sandra is going to be a target no matter what. She's the high-level target. So when the merge comes, he's not going to be the target because he can throw Sandra and sacrifice her, quote unquote, if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So we go to the edge of extinction. Now Natalie and
Danny.
I was forgetting Amber's name for some reason. Danny, Amber, and Natalie are all. They all get these. I guess technically tree mail with shells on them, telling them that they have to go to the tree. They go to the tree and see the combination. And first of all, I gotta say I give props to Amber for being the first to go back and search for what they need to be looking for. Whereas Danny and Natalie just kept trying random numbers.
Right. I wouldn't have tried random numbers because, anyone who knows math, Randy, would know that it could be a million different combinations. Like, you're not going to guess it. It wasn't like it was like three numbers where like maybe, but there was just no way. And I thought it was clever of Amber to look at the numbers on the box and go, maybe
that she noticed it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I think like I would never pick up on this.
I think that's a Boston Rob thing. Boston Rob helped her always be looking at things, always notice stuff around you. But I don't know. That might just be her.
The one who figured it out.
Well, she's also a mom, so she might have just naturally be looking at things from having to take care of kids and be aware of things around, your surroundings.
I don't know if I would have
noticed
picked up on that. Even as a mom, no.
But even
maybe the necklace, when Natalie figures that out, maybe. But I would not have just saw the numbers on the box. I probably wouldn't even notice the numbers on the box. I'm not observant.
Let's talk about how badass Natalie's doing out on the edge.
Holy shit. Then she broke the shells to throw the numbers off, threw a necklace, and I'm like, go girl. Like, as soon as she said it, you're like, yes, that is the combination.
And the thing is, I'm sure she closed that box again. So in case they were to go back and actually figure it out that it was the shells and try to open it again, no matter what they did, it wouldn't open.
Right.
Because now the numbers are off.
But so she closed the treasure chest, but I don't think she put the thing back in. I think she tossed it.
Yes,
so I think they would have noticed that wasn't there.
Well, they don't really have to worry because the numbers are off now. So it's like they're never going to open it with the wrong numbers unless they get close enough and then they start playing with it.
But wouldn't
What
they
she
have noticed the
finds,
lever missing?
well, I feel because she can put it back.
I thought she threw it.
Oh, did she? Is that what she
I
threw?
thought she did.
I
I
thought she
thought
threw
because
the little
I
box.
saw her close it. I'm like, that's a good idea. And then I think she tossed it, the lever. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Well, without that there, they're gonna know that you sold it because that thing's gonna be missing.
Well, we don't know how long that puzzle is up going to be up there. They might have just disappeared all of a sudden. When the next time they go up, I'm like, oh, it's gone. I guess we missed our time frame. But yes, what she finds is the ability to give an advantage to someone in the game to be able to get a steal a vote, and she
Yes.
gives it to Sarah. I'm surprised she gave it to Sarah.
I'm surprised Sarah, but I'm not surprised she didn't give it to Jeremy because she already gifted him something or bestowed or whatever the words are,
Bequeath.
bequeathed, whatever. Queef, I'm sorry.
Bequeath.
Anyway, um, because I think she had to think like, did he even have the token to buy it from her, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak? So, but Sarah, she had posted on Twitter her reasoning, and it was like Sarah's a cop. She knew Sarah would accept it. So that was her reasoning, and she knew that he would work. She would work with Tony. That's something
Exactly,
which
but
she
now
said.
now let's think about it. She's given something to Sandra. She's given something to Sarah.
And
And of course,
Jeremy,
she gave something to Jeremy. But by giving it to Sarah, she's technically giving something to Tony.
she
So, right
is,
there.
but somebody said, but wait, going back to why she didn't give it to Jeremy, I, other than maybe the token thing, I could have swore that she had to give it to the opposite tribe. So then, if that was the case, she couldn't have given it to Jeremy. Jeremy would not have been an option.
I don't remember. I don't remember that, or if that is the case or not.
I don't
But
know
here's
either.
the.
So
But
put it
here's
in the
my
comments.
thinking. By making these deals, although they don't know that it was Natalie that's been giving these things out to them, other than Jeremy probably, and Sandra. 'Cause Natalie was the only one that was out there. But other than them two, anybody? Let's say she continues this little streak of finding these clues and getting the advantages to send them back to the main islands. If she's the one that keeps continue to giving them back out there, when they get all together, and let's say she is able to make it in, because now she's gonna have enough tokens to be able to purchase the advantage in the playback challenge. And let's say she gets in. Now she comes in, she goes to Sandra, she goes to Sarah, and she goes to Jeremy and anybody else she might have helped and says, "You're welcome. Now do you want to get together?" And she's built these alliances without necessarily being in the game. That
Right,
makes
but
sense?
I think, but also, if Natalie gets back in the game, whatever power she's gonna have is gonna be huge because she's going to have all those tokens. And at this
Well, I think
point,
she's
we
going to
have
end up
no
using it
idea.
to try to get in. She's going to buy whatever she needs to buy to try to get an advantage in the challenge to come back in.
Yeah, yes. So something like that. But you don't think that it also might be like when she's back in, she can buy, immunity or something?
So that's what I wonder. It says one token for 3 tokens for immunity, right?
Yes,
Is that what
she
it
already
says?
has
Okay.
3.
So she already has 3, but I'm assuming she's going to use some of those to be able to buy that advantage in the challenge to come back in. So those are going to be gone, I'm sure. So she would have to continue to try to get more to get the actual idol when she comes back, unless she
Right.
wins tokens as part of the challenge to get back in.
Right.
But
Yes, I can see that.
yeah, we'll figure it out when it comes around. But I think Natalie's being pushed or put in the position that, or she's putting herself in the position that she will have a great number of people to work with if she comes back.
Right, but but you have to. I mean,
They don't have to work with
Sarah.
it.
I don't think Sarah is going to care. I don't think Sarah's gonna feel I
Uh,
owe you.
well, I don't know. Sarah is
And
really good at
you think
making.
Sandra's gonna think that she owes Natalie? She won't. She'll be like, I bought it with my token. That's how Sandra will say. Like, I don't owe
Well, no,
you
that's
anything.
fine. But if Sandra's in trouble, guess who she's gonna be able to go back to and say, "Hey, thank you. You want me to vote for whoever you want me to vote for?"
Maybe I don't
Because you
know.
know that Sandra's going to be in trouble, and knowing that she quote unquote owes the idol to Natalie, she can always say, "Look, I will vote the way you want me to vote. You just tell me who to vote for. I'm in your debt," even though she doesn't really believe that. Whatever, she can word it some other way.
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
and I can see
Natalie's good.
Sarah. Yeah, and I can see Sarah totally using it, even if she will later on cut her throat and
I
vote her
think
off again.
I think it would depend who's left in the game for Sarah to work with Natalie. It really would depend who's left.
Because you imagine Tony, Sarah, Jeremy, and Natalie all getting together. That would be a good
Wow.
alliance right there. Yeah.
It would be, and even though Tony's new school, it's just it just doesn't. He didn't play that long ago, but it just feels so long ago. And I think for me, like with old school and new school, I have to stop separating them by age, because I look at Adam and I look at um, Sophie and some of them, and I'm like, God, they're so young. They're new school. And then when I see Tony or Jeremy, even though they're new school, I'm like, they're old school. It's
So
just
what are we
because they're
considering
older.
old school before
Old
heroes
school,
versus villains?
yeah, I think so.
Because I feel like at a point, um, season 18 was considered like middle of the road.
Yeah.
Season 23, 24 were considered middle of the road. But if we put it at 20, everyone before that is old school.
Yep.
Everyone after is new school.
Yes.
I can kind of see, although I might push that line to maybe 23, 24, season 23, 24, where it really went to this new fast-paced game where it's all about idols and advantages and all. So let's go to the immunity challenge. They have to do these what is it, American Ninja Warrior challenge beginning, where they jump from the where they have to jump from little ramp to ramp and then climb the ladder to get that ball with the rope and then swing it up and climb.
Yeah,
and
they had
then
to
finally get to
throw
the puzzle.
the ball through the thing, then climb up another thing.
That Sele tribe, man, they really need to work on their challenge when their start, because they seem to fall behind almost every single time at the beginning of the challenge. And if it wasn't for Boston Rob, that second time, this would have been the fourth time in a row sending someone home.
Yes.
And he almost pulled it off again this time around. When it came to the puzzle, him and Michelle almost came back, especially when Sarah did them. Sarah made a mistake and pushed pieces off. Although we don't really know how close it was. They edited it to make sure it looked like that, but I would like to say I can take the producer's word for how the game goes down exactly, but I'm sure they do some things to make it feel a little bit closer than it really is.
Right. And I thought that Ben and was it Jeremy? letting everybody like stand on their shoulders and we're helping them up. Right? Wasn't it Ben and Jeremy?
Yeah, I believe so. When on the ladder?
No, not the I don't know if it's really a ladder, like the wall. When they were
When
leaning
they
up against the wall.
when they were climbing the rope.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they definitely were the physical strength there.
So, unfortunately, Sele goes again. They lose. We go back to the beach with them, and the old school alliance are sticking together. They're trying to decide who to boo. We go back to Adam. He's pretty gung ho. He's going to target Parv,
and he tells now Rob.
And this is where I'm going to say, I get what Adams is doing. He wants to have the options, and he wants to be able to work with Rob later on. And I feel like this move would work with almost anybody but Rob.
Right.
Or with even Ethan and Parv. The old school alliance, they're loyal to them, to the group.
Right.
That was the way they played back then. And I don't feel like, I feel like it would have worked with any new school player, or almost any new school player, and maybe even some of the old school players. But that move was not going to work with Boston Rob.
No, absolutely not. And Rob was pissed, and like he was angry. And then like when he started now telling the new school people, like, this is what's going on, because this is how he had to spin it to put a target on Adam at this point, because he had to get the targets off them. And then when Ben says, why would Adam do that? And I'm like, Ben, of all people to question why anyone says anything, I'm thinking,
that's what I say.
You? I'm like, really, Ben?
You're the one that put him in that position to begin with.
Yeah, so, I mean, agree, why would Adam tell Rob? But, Rob did good, but here's the thing I would like to know. Before all this happened, Adam went to Ethan, right? So did Ethan not say anything? Because we only see the reaction. What happened?
I think they edited Ethan going
that
back
out.
to Rob.
Yeah, because I do believe Ethan would have said something.
Yeah, because he did it the week before as well.
Right. So I think that they edited it out, and it probably just wasn't as the way Rob reacted. Rob probably already knew at this point that Adam was targeting Parv. He probably had to already know from Ethan. But Rob played stupid, I think, when Adam told him.
Yes, exactly. That's what I feel. And right away, he's like, yeah, I'll work with you. But then he gets up and goes and confronts Michelle and Jeremy, who seem to be the ones behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Right.
Especially in this scene. And I get what Michelle's doing. Michelle wants to make sure that people know that she's actually playing. Especially since there's questions.
The last season she was on, we clearly didn't see her play the game other than be really nice.
And if she was playing the same way she's playing this time around, then that's on the editor who
agree, because I would agree with that. But it's just so unfair to a. But I don't think they would have edited it out, because I mean they knew when they were editing that Michelle won, so I doubt they would show no moves. So I just think that maybe Michelle thought, you know what, I need to play this time, because people definitely thought I was very undeserving.
From all the interviews that I heard, what I heard from Michelle is what she did was very low key and very behind the cameras kind of things,
Yeah,
getting to
so
know the
low key
people.
that not even, producers saw it.
Yeah.
I
Well, it's
mean,
like
come on,
getting to know
she's not
people.
that good.
Yeah, getting to know people, getting to actually talk to them, and we know that in this quote unquote new version of Survivor, we don't get a lot of that talk in the camp. This season, we've gotten a lot more, and I love it. And it's been a couple of seasons already. I think going back to Ghost Island, David versus Goliath, and all that, I feel like we're starting to get more of that camp life, and I love it. I hope they keep continuing with it. And sometimes I know I get that they can't do it. There's not a lot going on in camp, and there's nothing
No,
for
I
them to
think
record.
I think it's just I remember I might have been probes, I don't know who it was, and people used to say, "Oh, I want live feeds of Survivor," like there is on Big Brother. But I think it was one of them said, "You don't want live feeds. It'll be very boring."
Well, remember when we
And then
saw when Dan,
Dan, because you saw how boring it was. Other
and not
than
even
them
this
throwing
Dan,
Dan under the bus to
yeah,
show
Dan
that he's a
for
liar.
everybody, Dan in Worlds of, not Worlds Apart, yeah, Worlds Apart, right?
Worlds Apart, yeah.
Yeah, where he reacted away because of something that Ronnie said or the way something like that. It blew up for something that was totally off, and Dan was wrong. He was lying about it. Well, maybe he
Yes.
wasn't lying, but he thought whatever.
He
But
was
it was a
lying
lie.
because
So
that's
when we
why
saw that
Survivor
footage,
called him
unedited footage, wow, that was boring.
at the reunion. It was very boring, and that's
But we
when I
saw
said,
it.
"Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't want live feeds." But I also think with live feeds on Survivor, I don't want it because live feeds of Big Brother is why I stopped watching the show. It was just so hateful, and they would say the most awful things. I don't want to feel that way about Survivor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't want to change my opinions of these people. Let me keep it the way it is. Give me that.
At the end of the day, we have Rob, Ethan, and Parv. Who's Did we ever get to see who they wanted to vote it out before they actually got there?
No, I mean, one time it was mentioned briefly that targeting Ethan, but it was such a short mention. And his edit, I mean, they've been really good with the editing this season because you had no idea who was leaving. And I'm like, it can't be Ethan. They barely focused on him. It's got to be Rob or Parv. And
we knew it was, and we knew that it was not going to go Adam's way.
Yeah, I knew that. I mean, as much as I wanted Adam to leave, and I was hoping at one point he was, but what's the call? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I knew that it just wasn't going to happen. And I'm just like, we need a tribe swap soon, or all the old school people are going to be gone. Still needs to win the next immunity challenge. They have to. They don't have a choice. Because
remember, Heroes versus Villains had no swap, so we don't know.
I need a tribe swap. I need it now.
I wouldn't mind a tribe swap, but I remember the last time in Game Changers there was a tribe swap. Sandra was screwed. She got on the wrong side of the numbers because of the swap.
Yeah, but I think that she might be on the wrong side of the numbers now. I think if they did a tribe swap and she had more old school, like if
Sandra's not going to care if you're old school or not, though.
If Rob and Parv and Sandra, Tony and Sarah were all on a tribe, I think that would be okay.
The thing is, I don't think Sandra cares who you are, whether you're old school or new school. She's going to work with whoever she needs to work with to keep going.
She will, but new school is not going to work with Sandra. They're going to get rid of her. They're
scared of her.
Yeah, because she's so good.
So we go back to Tribal Council. We get 3 votes thrown at Adam, which we now know the Old School Alliance threw their votes at him. They were hoping that by throwing Adam under the bus that would cause Michelle and Jeremy to vote his way. And Adam was thinking Parv was going home. At the end of the day, it's Ethan.
Right.
And here's my question.
Why we're talking about this, even though we knew Adam was safe, Denise had no plans. I'm using that idol on Adam.
No.
And I don't know why Adam gave the other half back. I would have held on to that with my life. Like Ty. Like, no way. I'm not letting that go. Nope. You know what? Oh, well.
Here's my question. The New School Alliance seems to be scared of Rob. They don't want him to be in charge. But they don't target him.
But they didn't vote him out. Because they're scared. That's how scared they are of him.
It's like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Well, maybe I get what Adam's doing. He would just come back. And then, I don't know.
I get what Adam's doing. I think his moves are not bad per se. I think it's just against the wrong set of players. And I think because it's against the Old School Alliance, it backfired on him. So now he's left. Right. He's left on the outs of the New School Alliance because Denise didn't even tell him they were voting Parv. Voting Ethan, because Adam's vote went to Parv.
Right.
And he's left out of it.
Yeah, so and he knows.
What does that leave him?
Let me go to Old School, New School. I think Jeremy is that middle ground. Michelle, is New School. But Jeremy is that borderline. He can be either side. He play, I think he can.
And he was like 27, I think.
Yeah, and even though it's not that long ago, I think Jeremy's gameplay and his age and the fact that this is his third season also doesn't make him New School for me, Because I think that's part of it too. This is Adam's second season. Michelle's second season. And this is Jeremy's third. Mm-hmm. So, for me, I wonder that maybe that's why I think he's more Old School. Parv played, 3 or 4 times? This is her fourth?
She voted out fast the first time.
She was in season 13.
Oh, no, not necessarily fast. But she got voted out in Cook Islands. She came back for Fans versus Favorites.
And then... No, then she came back for Heroes and Villains.
Heroes versus Villains, and she barely lost. She lost by 1 vote. And then I feel like she came back again after that.
I don't know if she came back after that. But so this is her 4th. I think this is her 4th, but maybe it's her 5th. But I think this is her 4th.
You know what?
Time.
It is her 4th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Rob has played 82 times. So he's definitely Old School. Denise, this is her second time. And I think Denise, what season did she play?
Denise played in the Philippines with Malcolm and Penner and all them. Well, Scoopin'
and she was loyal to Malcolm, and I know that's what Adam was.
Right, that was Scoopin' season when he came back.
I don't know what worst person.
Yeah,
I mean, he's.
Well, let's say Abby Maria.
He's
Abby
a worse person than Dan.
Yeah,
and Dan from last season, because we all know. I mean, just Google him if you don't know who he is. But he's an evil man in real life, and his hand should have burned off in the fire. His first season, they should have burned off.
And that's because I don't feel like he was very liked the first season either. So whatever.
No, he wasn't, and he came back. But I mean, he's a horrible man.
So yeah, that's the season that Denise won. It was between her, Scoopin', and what's her name? The girl from Facts of Life.
God,
I forgot her name.
I know who you're talking.
They made it to the final. Yeah. They all
She
made it to
should
the
have
final.
won.
Denise ended up winning. Well, she didn't win because she was scooping.
Yeah,
But yeah, Denise ends up winning that
I
season.
am so happy Scoopin didn't win because of who he ended up being.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, well, let's before we talk anymore about what might happen or what we think should happen. Who do you think gets the MVP this season or this episode?
This episode,
I have Cole.
I guess Michelle. I mean, I'm gonna give it to Michelle because it's definitely not Rob or Parv, even though they both stayed safe. They didn't get the votes the way they wanted. It's not Adam because Parv didn't go home and he was outed.
And we didn't see
So it
enough
would have
from
been
everybody
Michelle
else.
or Jeremy.
That's my
Michelle.
co-MVP. I said co-MVP, Michelle and Jeremy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with them two, I feel like Jeremy is letting Michelle be the voice. Letting it seem like she's the mastermind. So when it comes back around, like, oh, it was all her.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But eventually he'll come out and do what he has to do to show that he's been the game player. But right now he wants her to look like the evil one.
So I'm going to ask you, what do you think Parv's and Boston Rob's best move going forward is going to be?
To work with Adam.
Without a swap.
To pull in Adam and Denise.
That's exactly what I thought.
They're not gonna get Michelle or Jeremy to flip. So it would be Adam and Denise because Adam already lost them. So I think that's his best move, and I think that's Robin Parv's and Adam's best move is to work with each other. And
So
believe me, I don't want Michelle or Jeremy to leave, and I don't want Rob or Parv to leave. So it leaves 3 people that can go home that I don't care about.
So I follow Paradigm.
About Ben. Ben's on that season, that tribe too.
Ben. Ben's just floating around, I think, right now. I don't think he's in anybody's radar.
No, he's in a good spot.
Yeah. So I follow Paradigm on Twitter. I don't know if you watch his YouTube videos, but he does really great Survivor videos. And he asks something about the episode. I can't even remember what it is, and I don't have Twitter up to follow it. Pretty much what I ended up saying is I feel like Boston Rob and Parv should approach Adam because Adam is now on the outs of his alliance. And by going with Adam, he might be able to pull Denise with him and now regain that tribe. I don't think Michelle and Jeremy will do that. And even if they do, it's going to be a temporary vote out, and then they're going to turn their back on them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I think the best move for them is to go with Denise and Adam. And hopefully Adam still has Denise's favor to be able to pull her in. Everybody else is saying that they should go with Michelle and Jeremy, and I don't think that's going to work.
Right. No, I agree.
Okay. Any predictions for next week? I keep saying season when I mean week. I don't remember what I previously on Survivor.
That Seal will win the immunity challenge.
You think they finally pull it off?
I think they'll pull it off. And who's on that tribe? We have Sandra, Tony, Sarah, Sophie, Yoel, Tyson. Who else? Who am I forgetting?
You said Sophie, Kim?
Kim.
Hey, we didn't see Kim. This Nick.
Wendell.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Nick has been very hidden this season.
Yeah, so is Wendell.
I don't think they're making it far.
No, but I think that sometimes it's good that they're hidden.
Because that means
they're not focusing too much on them. They want to focus on the one. I would say Tyson would go home. So I
think Tyson goes home.
Yeah, or goes to the island, XL Island.
There we go. Yeah, that's goes to his new home for a bit.
Yeah, That's my guess.
Distraught. I'm distraught that Ethan's gone.
I was very sad because he's such a good guy.
Yeah, Ethan was my first very, very favorite player.
And didn't he start? He dated a fellow survivor.
He dated from Amazon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was her name Jenna? He dated Jenna for a while.
For a while. They were together for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think Sarah has a good chance to win it.
Sarah's in a good spot. And I have her in my draft picks. I have Wendell, Sarah, Michelle, Ben. And that was the order I picked them. The final two, I had a choice between Ben and Boston Rob. And I chose Ben because it's not that he's a better player, because by far he's not. But it's because Boston Rob will be that target. He's actually made it further than I thought he would. I mean, Boston Rob and Ben were the final two picks. Sandra was the last pick. Parv was the last pick. Because they're so good, we think they're going to go.
Yeah, that's what I think. Guys, once again, thank you guys. Remember to go ahead and follow us on Twitter. You can find me at three different places. But my two main ones are at Perspective and on my other podcasts at Nerds FTC or Nerds from the Crypt, where I talk about horror movies, horror comics. I speak with authors, creators, you whatever it is with horror. We talk a little about everything. So you guys want to follow me over there? You can go ahead and do that. Kim, where can they follow you?
Kim _is _board.
And you'll find those links in the description of this episode. And next week we're gonna be. Hopefully, we'll have some guests. We'll have Greg, possibly coming on. We might have either Ivan or our friend Abe coming on. Ivan, he's been a friend of the podcast for a bit, and he's actually doing some blogging about the episode, recapping the episode. So I'll leave the link in the description so you guys can follow that as well. Remember to subscribe. Remember to listen to us and rate us. Let us know what you think.
Thumbs up.
And yeah, thumbs up. Let us know what you think, because that's the only way we're going to get better is if you tell us what we think or what you like. Okay, guys? We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.